All right, it's Sandbox MMA rankings times. A little under the weather, so I'm gonna push through this for you guys. I'm sorry, I've just been fucking feeling like shit the past couple days. So sorry, a couple of these back-to-back videos are me sounding like shit, but we'll get through this rankings video for you. There's a lot I want to talk about. We are gonna keep it pretty brief. I don't like to make these videos too long because you complain and look at the UFC rankings, but these are the updated and the correct rankings because the UFC does a terrible job of ranking these fighters. We're gonna start in the women's strawweight division where couple fights took place on the prelims, starting with Carla Esparza. She obviously retired, so she fell out, or she would be in this ranking because I do think she beat Tisha Pennington. But Tisha Pennington got the win. She wasn't in the ranking. She beat a ranked Carla Esparza, so she's getting in the rankings here at number 15. Tisha Pennington breaks into the rankings. Kudos, Tisha. I have another fight that I want to talk about is Mackenzie Dern and Yasmin Lucindo. I'm sorry, Yasmin Lucindo and Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez was ranked like 6 or something like that. And Yasmin Lucindo was ranked 14. So obviously Yasmin Lucindo is going to jump even Marina Rodriguez here. Now what I did was Marina Rodriguez, I think, had competitive fights with these two ladies. But I think Ribas is coming off a loss, so I could see if you want to put her down lower, but she has a fight coming up with Mackenzie Dern, and both of them want to have higher numbers so they can have a chance of putting it as the main event, because the UFC loves giving us women's main events in front of crowds now, because, you know, they're bought by Disney and they're woke and pussy bullshit. But, yeah, I have everyone below Marina Rodriguez going down one spot because Yasmin Lucindo does jump them all with a victory over someone who was ranked higher than all of them. And considering it was a very close fight, she made it competitive, so I'm going to rank that. Marina Rodriguez also made it competitive, but she is going to move below Dern and Ribas, just coming off a very recent loss. Now, you could have her above Ribas, but it's tough to have her against above Dern, knowing that Dern came off another win over Lupe Godinez, which, again, I think was the wrong decision. It seems the strawweight division is cooked with robberies, or no one knows how to score the fight because there's no actual damage being done from the pillow-fisted fighters, except for Amanda Lemos. She hits like a fucking truck. But, yeah, all these other fighters are moving down one. Tabitha Ricci, who arguably has lost her last 3, but she gets robbery decisions. Lupe Godinez moving down one. Angela Hill, Luana Pinheiro, and Jillian Robertson all moving down one spot. Tisha Pennington moving into the rankings. Yasmin Lucindo jumping up 6 spots, obviously having the competitive fight with the number 6 ranked at the time, Marina Rodriguez. You have Marina Rodriguez dropping 3 spots like we talked about below Ribas and Dern. I know you don't care that much about this division, so we're going to move on. Dern and Ribas each move up a spot, and we're moving on. The next ranking spot we're going to talk about, I was thinking about putting Ryan Spann at 15 in light heavyweight over Alonzo Menefield, but I think he's going to need to fight into those rankings. A win over OSP doesn't get you in the rankings, no matter how impressive it was. Cesar Almeida's fight has nothing to do with the rankings. Alex Hernandez and Austin Hubbard's fight has nothing to do with the rankings. We talked about the 2 strawweight fights. Now we're going to move into things that get interesting. We'll get to welterweight. I'm going to talk about bantamweight because this is a pretty easy, quick one. Juliana Pena won a complete robbery. Like, this is... I know I've been throwing the word robbery around a lot this week, especially with what happened to Jose Aldo. I don't think this was that close of a fight. I think Raquel Pennington won it very clearly 1-4-5. Think she was robbed very badly, but she doesn't have the title, so she doesn't go in the title spot. She stays as the number 1 contender, though. I'm not just going to put Kayla Harrison above her because she came off a victory. Raquel Pennington should be champ right now, so she's going to stay at the 1. Ketlin Vieira moves down to 1 spot, losing to Kayla Harrison, obviously. So 1 through 3, this all makes sense. I think this is exactly what the UFC has it as well. Yeah, Juliana Pena is now the champ. Raquel Pennington, number 1. Kayla Harrison moves up to number 2, 1 spot. And then Ketlin Vieira moves down 1 spot to number 3 for at least having a semi-competitive fight with Kayla Harrison. Moving on. Let's talk about welterweight. Big win for Joaquin Buckley, man. Big win for Joaquin Buckley. He's going to jump up 4 spots here. He was ranked 11. I'm moving him up to 7 above Jeff Neal, whose last fight is a loss to Ian Gary, and the fight before that was a loss to Shavkat Rakhmonov. I like Jeff Neal too, so no disrespect. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, the UFC has him below Jeff Neal at the 11 and Jeff Neal at the 10. Now, the reason I say no to that is because Stephen Thompson outclassed Jeff Neal tenfold back in 2021, just 4 years ago. So he outclassed Jeff Neal. He has a win over Jeff Neal. And I'm going to put Stephen Wonderboy Thompson ahead of him because he was also beating Buckley 2-0 in my card. Could have been 1-1, but he was having success against Buckley. So I'm moving him down just 1 spot to 10. Colby and Gilbert are both moving down 1 spot as well because they're both coming off multiple losses in a row now. And Buckley's coming off a massive win streak, and he has a win over the number 9 ranked at the time, Stephen Thompson, I think. So we're going to go with Joaquin Buckley moving up to 7, Burns moving down to 8, Colby moving down to 9. I would prefer if Colby wasn't in these rankings because he just doesn't fight. But hey, it is what it is. I would put like Brian Battle in here because I'm a huge Brian Battle fan right now. I'm just going to be a massive pro Brian Battle guy on this channel, and I might make a video. That's actually a good idea. I'm going to make a video of the fighters that we're going to tail all the way to the title. Tail to the title video. That's what we're doing. I love that idea. Joaquin Buckley's going to be one of those guys. Brian Battle's going to be one of those guys. Wonder Boy was always one of them, but it's looking slim now. Everyone moves down one spot that was above Buckley and below Burns, I believe. Or Burns or below. Yeah, I think this makes sense. I think Joaquin needs to be above him. He's got a massive win streak going. Good wins, too. Like, Nursultan Ruzaboyev is a good unranked win for him, even though Buckley was in the rankings at the time. Vicente Luque, good ranked win, even though Vicente Luque is a shell of himself now. And Wonderboy Thompson is a good ranked win. So putting him here at 7, I think he deserves it. It also makes it a lot easier to do the Usman versus Buckley matchup if he's 7 versus if he's like 9 or 10. Moving on to middleweight. Yeah, we'll get to bantamweight next, guys. I know you're dying to see what happens there. Things are going to stay pretty close. I'm going to move Dolidze up one spot over Paulo Costa because Paulo Costa's coming off 2 losses in a row. Before that, a win against the unranked Luke Rockhold. And before that, 2 other losses to Izzy and Marvin Vettori. So the guy's like 1-4 in his last 5. I'm not rewarding that. We're putting Roman Dolidze up there because he has now put together a 2-fight win streak here. His only loss of recency, I believe, was to Nasruddin Imavov. So, yeah, we're going to reward Roman Dolidze here, get him up to the 9 spot, and I think the fight should be Costa versus Dolidze anyway. A win can actually get both of them above Marvin Vettori to me. So, that's what I'm looking at there for a matchup. But Roman Dolidze, Paulo Costa, the only ones that really switch there. We're moving back to bantamweight. Nothing's changing. I'm not changing a fucking thing. In my eyes, Mario Bautista lost that fight. It is a flaw in the rules that you can hold someone against the cage, do no damage, not even attempt to throw a punch, and get separated, and then immediately shoot to the legs and not get separated. Also, not getting the takedown. You are not effectively grappling. Holding someone against the cage is not effective grappling. That is stalling. The MMA guru said it best. You are stalling out the fight. You are. You're just trying to make it to the bell. And every time you guys get separated, Jose Aldo hits you, and you don't hit back. So to me, that's a win for Jose Aldo, especially in that 3rd round. 1 is Batista. It is. Mario Bautista won the 1st round. Jose Aldo clearly won the 2nd round. Round 3 is Jose Aldo. He's the only one that landed damage. And he also went 100% on his takedown defense. He defended all 10 takedowns in this fight. That scores more points to me than holding up against the cage and doing no damage. It should score more points to everyone. So fuck that bullshit. The UFC website has Jose Aldo at 11 below Rob Font. But move Mario Bautista above Rob Font. Now, what did Mario Bautista do to make you think he deserves to be over Rob Font? Beat Aldo on the judges' scorecards, which no one fucking agrees with in the entire MMA community, unless you had money on Mario Bautista? Jose Aldo beat Rob Font very clearly, very badly. And he goes down below Rob Font now. And the UFC thinks they want to take care of their legends. I actually don't think this is Dana. I think if it was up to Dana, Jose Aldo would have won the fight and he would have moved up the rankings. But the UFC is discrediting Jose Aldo. They're disrespecting him, and it is fucking disgusting. Give him his Legends fight with Henry fucking Cejudo, and then he can move up from there. Because this is fucking disgusting what's happening to Jose Aldo. Things are staying where they are. If you don't like it, close out of the video, dislike it. I don't give a fuck. Mario Bautista does not deserve to move up. Jose Aldo stays where he is. We're moving on. Lastly, it is light heavyweight, because we went over the co-main event. Obviously, Pereira is still champ. Yuri, Magomed, this all I agree with. This is staying where it is. But I am going to move Khalil Rountree up one spot over Nikita Krylov. And the reason being Nikita Krylov has just not been active enough for me to keep him above Khalil Rountree, who was super competitive. Now, you can argue Khalil Rountree gave Alex Pereira a better fight than Yuri and Jamal Hill, so shouldn't he be above them? No. I don't think so. The only person in the light heavyweight division that I can remember Hiri losing to is Alex Pereira. I believe he beat everyone else. He beat Volkan Ozdemir. He beat Glover Teixeira. He beat Alexander Rakic. So yeah, I mean, to me, he is where he is. I feel like he beat someone else that I'm just not remembering, but I digress. Khalil Rountree, Nikita Krylov. These are the only two switch. Now, Nikita Krylov might be inactive because his country is in a brutal war. And maybe he's fighting for them. So in that case, I'd be wrong. But there's a fight coming up. There's a chance for him to right the ship. If he gets the win over Azamat Mirzakhanov, it's probably going to move him up. Ozdemir and Olberg fight too. So if Olberg ends up winning, he's going to move up. Like these rankings are going to be shifted up soon. And now we're going to have new people in the title contention for Alex Pereira. Should be very interesting. But these are the rankings. Hope you enjoyed them. If you didn't, yeah, I mean, feel free to speak your piece. Unless it's because of the Mario Bautista Jose Aldo thing, then you can fuck off. But yeah, these are my rankings. Hope you enjoyed them, and they're better than UFC. So thank you.